guys, welcome back to another episode of The 12th Man. And this is Prakash, I'm your host, and my co host Patty. Now we're going to bring to you game week number 5.
The one after the
Ooh.
international break.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was interesting to
So,
see who all were still fit after that and which teams would manage to kind of balance out the international fixtures with their domestic games. And we started off with a blinder.
banger. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Tottenham versus Liverpool.
yeah, and a fixture which last year I was about to go for at Wembley, and thank God I didn't because we got thrashed 4-1. It was a nightmare day for Lovren. Though this time we didn't have Lovren in defense. We had Van Dijk and Gomez. And so it was interesting to see. It was the first match in our long run of difficult fixtures because we had PSG next and a whole other bunch of teams. So it was going to be interesting to see whether we could cope up again after the international break, whether whether our players were fit, whether they could handle. But it turns out it was actually better than what I'd expected. Spurs were the team that were quite slow, lethargic, because most of their players played the international games and the big matches like Harry Kane, Dele Alli. They all played the likes of Spain and Switzerland, right? So that took a toll on them, and you could see because they started off probably stronger. I think the first 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes, but then once the game settled, we had total domination. It should have been 5-1. It should have been 6. Could have gone more. The one drawback from Liverpool's performance had to be the selfishness of Salah and Mane. Like we debated this even in the last game week, that it's getting to a point where they want to score so badly that they're not looking for the easy pass.
Yeah, and they're not even looking for each other. I feel like there's a little bit of one Salah trying to replicate his season before to show that he's not a one season wonder.
Right.
I'm sure it's definitely on his mind. And two, Mane wants to say, hey, you're not the only star. I can do it too.
Yeah.
Might have felt a little overshadowed last year. So they're both just trying to, which can't be a bad thing. It's just healthy competition.
It is healthy competition, but it also can get to an obsession, which isn't fine. Like as long as you know that the team is first, and then you kind of take in your individual priorities or whatever, that's fine. But I mean, the team has to come first. I think of all the three, Firmino is probably the least selfish amongst them. He just wants to have a good time.
Yeah, I think Firmino's always been the least selfish. Think with your strike force.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean,
he's always playing that beautiful ball for like the next person, dropping deep to play it next. So I think Firmino's he's kind of like your Benzema of Liverpool.
Yeah, and I kind of agree that he is the most unselfish player we have. But for Tottenham, I mean, they were missing Hugo Lloris in goal. They had Worm, and he had a horrendous game. The first one, which was punching the ball right into Wijnaldum's head, for the first goal, which I think was the first time goal line technology was used this season. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was clearly over the line.
Always, used. Okay.
This season, yeah.
That was a goal. That was clearly a goal.
Yeah, and then the second one was a brilliant pass by Robertson, and I think it was fumbled over the line. It was a good clear. I mean, good stop by Vertonghen, but then Worm, it slipped through his grasp. Firmino had already gone into the goal, so he had to come back and again hit the ball into the goal. So it was like, oh, okay, like he overshot his run or whatever. So with that, it was 2-0, and like I said, it should have been easily 4-5, and then of course, because we are Liverpool, we concede one in the 91st minute. Lamela scores, and then we could have given off a penalty in the 93rd minute, which the referee didn't see. It was a clear penalty. The referee didn't see it, and Klopp was just like, okay, finally we're lucky in something. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
So with that, we were 5 wins out of 5 in the league. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
should have been 4-1, but we go with the 5-0.
Yeah.
Then we had the other big juggernaut, Man City, against Fulham. They keep on winning, they keep on moving forward. Maybe a few draws here and there, but I don't think much has changed from last year.
No,
What do you
I
think?
think I still think there's a team to beat or team to catch up to, despite our and Chelsea's 100% record. You know that City will not lose. Like
Mhm.
Liverpool and Chelsea could lose, but City is one team that you might say may not lose as
Yeah,
many as
over the
Liverpool
long
lose.
run, you know that City is. You feel like maybe Chelsea might. I feel like Chelsea might drop off. I feel like they're all the players are all having a great run of form. A few very vital players, I think, with Chelsea. But I
Yeah,
feel like with City, it's just that it's set up. The system is set. Players know what system they're playing in. Everybody has the common idea, the common
and
goal.
and this
Everybody's
is without the
in
likes
sync
of
with
De
each other.
Bruyne. This is without the likes of De Bruyne and Benjamin Mendy as well. So if they can perform like that without those two key players, who in any side, if they were missing, would have caused like major problems.
Mhm.
So for
Exactly.
them to lose those
Well,
players and still,
City's team is just that stacked, right? We just have that many good players. Not much we can do. That's maybe why Guardiola's obsession with midfielders comes in handy. Always somebody there, and they all have the way of working their way weaving through people,
yeah,
making it work. So I think City is set, and like you said, they are the team to beat. Sure, Liverpool may look like contenders, but to prove that they can win a league, they have to
right.
beat City
Like I think I heard like
twice.
one of the reporters say that usually Premier League is like a marathon, like because it's a long thing, right? It's usually been a marathon that you kind of could, even if you start slow, you can catch up later on. But with this City team, it's like a sprint. You need to get out of the gates flying straight
You
away.
have to, yeah. Hmm.
I mean, otherwise you'd
Exactly,
end
because
up
that's
with
the
a
mistake that what happened last year with us, right?
yeah,
We were 4 wins for four, and City won. We were leading at that time, but
the
but
draw
yes,
at
took it
Anfield.
easy. Things went
Yeah,
well. Yeah, the international break kind of like moved things away from the run of form that we were having, and
yep,
City just ran away with it. There was no way of catching up to them. And after that loss at December, that's what it is. All
yep.
right, so then let's move on to the next game: Bournemouth versus Leicester City.
Ooh,
That
yeah,
was a very interesting game. That was an
yeah.
interesting game.
It, well, I was expecting a much tighter game. Like Bournemouth were in form. Leicester also were playing quite well. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
they lost the last one to us, but they were still quite dominant in that game. So uh, to see the scoreline 4-2 as it was kind of shocking.
also, I feel like it kind of didn't do Leicester too much justice, I suppose, because they were losing 4-0 until
Yeah,
the 88th minute,
yeah,
right? And they scored two goals in like a minute, in the span of a minute, a penalty
yeah,
and Mark Albright goal. Right?
yeah,
Well, at least they made themselves look a little bit better.
yeah,
But of course, I'm sure
yeah.
the red card
That's what I
wasn't
like about
helpful.
the Premier League is that like a lot of these small teams are suddenly starting to show up.
Mhm.
So no matches predictable, no matches like
Exactly. It's like
easy.
Wolves, like
Yeah,
Watford.
yeah,
You don't know who you're gonna, you don't know when you're gonna have a difficult week. Maybe
yeah.
like, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yep.
Hopefully,
So
we do well against Derby. You know, that'll be game to watch.
yeah.
So next we have Newcastle versus Arsenal. What
Oh,
do you think about Arsenal?
Benitez. Uh, I think they've got the system right now. If they play Aubameyang and Lacazette together, those two are so good when they're together. Uh,
Hmm.
I mean, defense, they're still suspect. A lot, they're way suspect. Okay, it's kind of like Chelsea as
Yeah,
well, right? You have like the likes of Hazard, Pedro, Willian, who can score as many goals and probably outscore opponents, but their defense, like Chelsea's David Luiz, or here in the case of Arsenal's
yeah.
Mustafi or Bellerin, it
Like they
is
say, offense wins you games, defense wins you titles.
yeah,
That's beautifully exemplified by Liverpool. Figure out your defense this season, finally.
yeah,
Right? So let's see where that
yeah. I
goes.
mean,
Something
I,
that Arsenal definitely has to work on.
Yeah, I mean Newcastle aren't doing themselves any favors. I mean Benitez is just like trying so hard with that team when he
He
just
needs to
can't.
leave, man. There's no reason for him to be in that team.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean even at home, if they can't win, it's a serious problem right now. And last season was just a miracle that they got to the first half. This season was it's proving to be too much, especially with the other team strengthening.
I
So
think Benitez is wasted.
yeah, I mean, what else can he do, man? At this point, the fans like him. He likes the club. It's just that the owners are. Well, Mike Ashley is just Mike Ashley, so
Yeah.
can't do much about it.
Mhm.
And yes, I mean we could with Arsenal one well comfortably. I mean I don't think even with the scoreline 2-1, it still seemed a little more comfortable
Yeah,
than it
it was like
was.
a 90th minute goal like this.
So
It's
let's
really
move on to the next one, which is Chelsea Cardiff.
Huddersfield. Huddersfield
Huddersfield
Crystal
Crystal.
Palace.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So I mean, was that the
Not much
match?
to say about that game.
Yeah. I mean, Huddersfield is definitely going down the way they're going.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. Fuck you, Huddersfield.
Yeah, I think was this. I
But
think was this the match that I think Zaha kind of complained later. No, yeah, this was the match that Zaha complained later on, saying that I
mm,
mean he's not getting protection from the refs. I think that was the biggest story because he in the post match interview he's like I've been kicked everywhere. I've been even like someone's I mean some guy even stood on his calf and the ref didn't do anything. He's like, what do I have to do to get the guy even a yellow card? I mean, this is quite embarrassing. So that's created a debate as to whether players should actually criticize the referees or just go about because I mean Zaha is one of those kind of players that people say gets fouled a lot because of the way he plays. He
mm,
runs at you. He kind of because of his dribbling and his technical ability. You defenders are bound to make more tackles on him than like a Benteke or something.
yeah, I mean,
So
it's gonna be easier to do it to him than Benteke. I
yeah,
completely agree. Also, he's the kind of guy that you who's so good at dribbling and I guess using his pace and
yeah,
playing the way that he does, that he can get the better of you, and the only way you can come back is foul him.
yeah,
That's what happens to Hazard, right? So
yeah,
I guess that makes sense that it's happening, but it's not.
yeah. That's
So
true.
let's move on to Chelsea Cardiff.
Yeah,
So
and speaking of Hazard, oh my God, did he have a game that day? And Cardiff
jeez,
is obviously one of the promoted teams that we said weren't going to do well because they hadn't strengthened as much as Wolves and Fulham.
yeah.
So, and this is clearly it, man. They scored like one goal, let in four. Hazard could have had even more. It's just like,
They
uh,
haven't won a single game either this season, right?
yeah,
So
they,
yeah,
Newcastle, and I
that's
think
looking bad.
Huddersfield. It
Yeah,
yeah,
clearly.
like Hazard. We would everyone talks about how Harry Kane and the Tottenham team is so lethargic because of the international break. You look at Hazard. Hazard's played as much and as many games as Kane has, and even got to the semi-finals or whatever of the World Cup, everything. But he has no
Mhm.
World Cup hangover. I mean, is it because he's a completely different player? That's why Sari also said that he's probably one of the best in Europe. I mean, despite all this.
Yeah, could be. I mean,
Okay,
also I feel like he's more experienced. And and the thing with Hazard is, I felt like in the Belgium system he was protected. He played.
right.
He all he had to do was get the ball and run and defend. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like I'm not saying it's his job, but I feel like with Kane, he's the kind of player who will drop deep, who'll come to midfield, who'll make runs, who'll do
Yeah,
all kinds of
I don't
different
know
things.
why he wants to do that. He's Harry Kane. He's not very Firmino or something to come in midfield. Stay up front, man. But no,
Yeah, I guess he
I
doesn't
think
trust the England midfield, and I wouldn't either. So
yeah. I also I mean actually to be honest, Hazard was protected by Chelsea in the first couple of games. He only came off the bench, so he was rested.
yeah,
Whereas Tottenham
yeah,
do
well
that
rested.
with couldn't afford to do that with
Yeah,
Harry Kane because he had to
exactly.
play from minute one. So
Hmm.
it's sad, but I mean Hazard make you can see the I mean how the benefits of resting players.
Helps. Yeah.
Yeah, we can see how
So
fruitful that rest has been for Hazard. So yeah,
well, so whoever had Harry Kane, whoever had Hazard in their fantasy football team, good job. You had a great
yeah.
week.
I was
On that
hoping
topic,
I forgot to put him in, man. Shit. Yeah,
yeah. Speaking of
yeah.
FPL, if you ever have any United players take the match. Let's move on to
Unless
Watford
they're playing
against Man
away.
United.
Unless they're playing
Unless
away.
they play away. But even when they play away, it's still, let's get to that. Even when they
Yeah.
played away, I'm sure we won, but I still felt the team was suspect. There
Yeah.
was a lot of issues, I would say. I mean, yeah, we started off really well. We took the game to them. Watford didn't know what to do for a little bit. It was a little bit like, I guess we would say we did well. I mean, it became a 50-50 sort of session until
Yeah.
we had those two quick fire goals.
Yeah. I mean, we were going.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see whether Watford would again be a giant killer after beating the likes of Tottenham. So, and
Yeah, and
United.
I think United had that in their mind. They went in with that game knowing that Watford are not to be taken easy. I feel like United do
Yeah.
worst when they take it easy. They think it's a smaller opponent, and
Yeah.
it's maybe the mentality of the players. They don't bring
Like against
and I
Spurs.
felt like
Yes.
Spurs United played well. I will argue till Mourinho Wednesday gets fired that
Yeah.
Spurs game was United's best this season so far. United was Spurs was United's best game of the season.
Yeah, I guess so.
I will not. I will always argue that. But going back to this, there were clearly some plans worked into this. The whole fact of playing the corner and then and then heading it back into Chris Smalling at the near post. It was clearly a thing that was planned and set up, and how Mourinho went to his assistant coach and specifically said, "Good job," and hugged him. So
Yeah.
that seemed like it was planned out really well. So there was a lot of like work that seemed to have gone into this game, and they had a lot of time for that, given the 4 weeks of
Yeah.
I mean not 4 weeks, the
2 weeks.
the break,
Yeah.
the 2 weeks of break. Yeah. So other than that, I would say the second half was down, at least from United's. We didn't threaten Watford at all. It seemed like, um, I mean, I could see the red card coming. Like Matic had already fouled a guy. Like he had stopped a counter attack. We were getting counter attack again and again, and Matic was always there to clean up. But
Yeah.
cleaning up was him having to foul the guy. And well, it was sad that he had to do it in the 90 plus third minute, or
Yeah.
we could have had a situation where the game was tied again. But I still felt the second half completely belonged to Watford. That's even reflected in the statistics. They had way more shots on target.
Right.
United didn't have a single shot on target in the second half, I think. But yeah, it was just a game that does not raise my confidence in the team. And I think there has to be something that changes drastically for United moving forward. Something has to happen. Not, I mean, I'm not talking about a managerial change because I still love Mourinho. I think that there has to be something, a big catalyst, some huge motivator that has to happen. I don't know what that is, but it's needed.
Yeah, I think beating a big team would help. Like a really big team.
Definitely.
Like one of the City or Liverpool.
Yeah, like City, Liverpool, or Juventus in the Champions League.
Oh yeah. All right, so that's it for I think Saturday's matches, and now we move on to Sunday, which was not the most exciting of Sundays.
Somber Sunday.
Yeah.
All the Europa League teams.
Yeah. So I mean, Wolves beating Burnley 1-0. There's nothing much to say about it. I mean, Wolves again showing their pedigree as a decent Premier League opposition.
And Burnley, I feel like, I guess, going back to their place as a mid-table.
Yeah, I mean, last season
might have performed really well last season.
Yeah,
but going back to average, I guess.
Yeah, but the biggest story was West Ham beating Everton. I mean, Pellegrini finally getting his first win of the season, and that too away, man. Right. It was required. They took the game to Everton. I think Everton without Richarlison also, I think, right? So
yeah, I felt like we were going to have a situation like Crystal Palace in our hands. But
Yarmolenko scored 2 and Arnautovic. That's quite nice.
Well, let's get to the last one, the Monday Night Football, Southampton versus Brighton.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Damn, who scored for? Oh, hey,
that was a 2-2.
Danny Ings, woot.
And Glenn Murray.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it's not bad. Not a bad point by Brighton. Away from home, that too. I mean, we know at home they're strong. So away from home,
And came back through a penalty here in the 90th minute. So good stuff, Brighton. Clawed back a
yeah,
point.
not bad. And Southampton, well, they're okay. I mean, Danny Ings has scored, I think, half of their goals, which is, as a Liverpool fan, I'm happy for him. And the fact that he's not going to play us next game week because parent club and he's on loan. So it's good. Score against the other oppositions, but not against us.
Don't score against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Didn't they like back in the day have that clause where if you were on loan you couldn't play against the team?
Yeah, this that
you were being loaned from.
that's still there.
Still,
That's why he can't
still
play
there.
against Liverpool. Yeah.
Oh, anyway, so that's it for now. Thank you for
Yeah.
tuning in, guys. So glad to have football back again.
I know,
Have
right?
the international
Club
break.
football. I mean,
I know,
the
and the
international break was
Champions
not too
League.
bad. Oh yeah,
That's what I'm
yeah.
excited about. Champions League in 2 days. Well, we're playing Young Boys. Hopefully, we can get past Young Boys. But
We're playing PSG, dude.
it'd be good to start with 3 points. But
Yeah.
let's see how it goes. We'll catch you next week for game week number 6. Thanks.
Oh yeah.